listening to the Author Inside You podcast, a weekly podcast designed to motivate you to finish writing a book, choose a publisher, and have your work build an audience. Keep listening if you're looking to get propelled into the next chapter of your life. And now, it's the Author Inside You podcast with your host, Leah and Matt Rafferty.
Hello and welcome to the Author Inside You podcast. I'm Matt Rafferty.
And I'm Leah Rafferty.
Joining us today is Kristie Knights, author of Unsung Heroes, Deconstructing Suicide Through Stories of Triumph. Kristie's the founder and CEO of iRise Leadership Institute, a licensed psychotherapist, a professional speaker, and provides leadership training in suicide prevention. And she's also the founder of Unsung Heroes Publishing. Welcome, Kristie. Thanks for joining us today on the Author Inside You.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wow, Kristie. Okay. You have a lot going on. You seem to be doing a lot. But the nice thing is not only are you busy, but you seem to be helping people. And what a wonderful thing that is. How did all this come together that you decided to write a book?
This has been such a journey, and part of my mission is to serve on a daily basis, finding ways to serve others and give back. Through my own struggles in a divorce, I had my own thoughts of suicide and was truly struggling with depression during that time. As you know, it can be just emotionally draining to navigate a divorce. And during that time, I was just thumbing through Facebook, as many of us do, and came across a post from a woman who had a concussion. And as a result of her concussion and the chronic pain, she was suicidal. And one night she was laying in bed and thought to herself, I'm done. Like, I can't do this anymore. Oh. Heartbroken with the pain in her marriage. Her husband walked through her bedroom door and said to her, hey, how are you feeling? And she goes, I think I want to take my life. And he laughed at her and said, don't do that. That's silly. And walked out of the room. She was devastated that he did not take her seriously, but through prayer and talking with her sister, changed her mind as she heard her children playing in the next room. Posted it on Facebook, and I knew at that moment the level of empowerment Lisa felt, that she had the courage to not only rise above that, but then share her story with the world.
Yeah.
Right. That does take a lot of courage to put that on Facebook. Wow.
Absolutely. Within 30 seconds, I felt very called to do something, to take action, to make a difference because of my own story, Lisa's story. So I posted, is anybody else out there similar to Lisa struggling with suicidal thoughts or in the past have attempted suicide and now are living a life of joy and would like to be featured in the book, to personal message me. It was within 24 hours, I had 48 people message me, 48 people globally.
Wow. Just like that.
That's unbelievable.
Yes.
That's not just responses to your posts. That's personal messages, 48. Wow.
Yes. They were people from India, Asia, Africa, Israel.
Wow.
All looking to be a part of this project.
That is just incredible. And that, because this is such a personal thing, you would think that some people would not want to go public, but it's nice that you're the leader, I guess, that found people who would want to share their stories, and I would think would help them through their life journey.
Yes. I was blown away even myself as a therapist that so many would want to be so public with their story. But as I learned through this process of interviewing each of them, they were using their story to create purpose in their pain. And it was with that purpose they felt was part of their journey, part of their healing to give back and save a life.
So what about getting permission? Did you have to get a lawyer, or did you just?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. At this time, I was just a psychotherapist, and I don't say that facetiously, but as you read my credentials, I've added a few things since this book.
Yes.
Yes, but at that time, I was a psychotherapist, and I had no idea how to publish or write a book. I had never done it. I had laying on my desk but never published a book. So the journey began with calling an attorney. The attorney shared with me that the cost for the contract, because it was international, would be $10,000.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a big start.
Yes. And I was, again, very surprised, dumbfounded, slightly deflated. But again, I felt so called to this book, I wasn't going to stop. And the other concern was, because we're going across the miles and we're talking about such a sensitive topic, there needed to be the liability coverage in this piece, right? Because telling your story can trigger you to experience those emotions all over again. And what would I do? God forbid someone would then act out and become depressed again and suicidal again.
That'd be terrifying.
Absolutely. So both as a psychotherapist and as someone to, protect your book and protect, it's a business decision.
Sure.
So additional contracting needed to be done. That was the reason for the cost. She suggested that I cut out all international people. And I said, there's no way. It's not happening. A person is a person. If they're willing to share their story, there's no way I'm turning them down. She suggested that I form a nonprofit. As a nonprofit, I would qualify for pro bono work in her firm.
Oh, very good.
Very interesting.
Well, that's nice that she told you that.
Right.
That's good.
Yes. So I completed the paperwork for the nonprofit and applied for the pro bono work within 24 hours of her and I meeting. And within 2 weeks, we had approval and a contract ready to hand to the authors.
That's fast.
Yeah, that is fast.
You did it. You started the 501c3 in 24 hours?
Yes, wow. I went through Rocket Lawyer and did it very quickly. It was a small startup fee, around $500 to $600.
Okay.
And that was established within 24 hours.
Well, congratulations.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Well, look at this. Already something new happened just from immediately something new happened from your idea from the book.
Look what you learned already.
Yeah, wow.
You haven't even written anything yet.
Yeah. Put a thing on Facebook and here you go. Well, okay. So
absolutely.
Then, so now you decide, you get the permission, and now how do you compile it? Do you do it by yourself? Do you hire an editor, a publishing company? What did you decide to do?
The first thing I did was get on my knees and thank God, because it was such an opportunity to walk with people at such a painful time in their lives. And then the second thing was to look at how are we going to raise funds for this, because we still do need someone to design the cover, all of that.
Sure.
So the establishment of the nonprofit came. I developed a board very quickly. I had a group of people with great ideas. We then started a Kickstarter page. Now, I did not have any experience crowdfunding, but it was the one I'd seen the most, so I felt that it was the safest, and just began to create the video for that, explaining what our project is. We interviewed some of the authors for that video.
Wow.
And launched the Kickstarter. Next to my project was a coloring book, and it was creating quite a buzz. So the cat coloring book was generating around $4,000. And I felt like, our project is profound. So we will have no problem receiving donations and contributions. But the truth was that it wasn't the case. And as time was ticking, we had very little money. And with Kickstarter, at the end, when you were done, if you don't meet your goal, you lose all money. Which I know now. Yeah. And so at the $800 mark, an angel appeared. A beautiful woman named Kate Gardner from the United Kingdom saw our post, and she had her own journey of suicidal thoughts and an attempt, and wanted to give back. So she reached out and she said, look, you're at the 800 mark and you are just a week from this closing, and you asked for $2,000 to get this started, and you're just not going to make it. And I said, that's probably true, but I've got great faith.
Keep trying.
Yes, we're not giving up. And she said, here's the deal. For $800, if you do not make your total for $800, I will gift you $10,000 worth of services.
Wow.
to publish your book, and that will include setting up your own publishing company.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Providing you with a team of an editor, graphic designer, and someone who formats your book for you.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
And we will have this book published in 6 weeks and a bestseller.
Wow.
Wow.
She said, I want you to think about it, pray about it. If you accept this offer, then you don't need to worry about anything else. And so I did. I let the page run out, the Kickstarter go, and we didn't reach our total amount as hard as we tried. So I accepted her offer, and she then began coaching me on how to put it all together and publish this book in 6 weeks.
Wow. And once again, just by a Facebook post. What would have happened if you would have just disregarded it? I mean, it's just incredible how your life has changed because of that one post.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So, all right. So now you're in a business relationship, and is it going well, or?
Yes, it was absolutely fabulous. It ran so smoothly. We, as a board, there were 3 or 4 of us on the board by that point, worked together. I did the interviewing of every single author because I'm the licensed psychotherapist.
Okay.
And we did an initial screening, to be sure they were stable. Out of 48 people, we ended with 34.
Well, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There was a handful that were still struggling that we shared with them. There will be more book projects. This one is not the right one for them right now. So we did that initial screening, and then they were given instructions and part of a Facebook group to support them during this time, that I would interview them in transpose, or they could write their own story of 1,500 words or less, and we would have it edited for them. So 75% were interviewed and 25% wrote their own.
Okay.
And then sent to the editor as they were done. And the editor moved them through very quickly. And within 2 weeks, the editing and graphic design and everything was completed.
In 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Wow, that's great. Your reality, your dreams come to reality very quickly.
Yes. What you'll read in my story, how we came to the book cover, is what you'll read in my chapter is that when I was in my darkest hours, I was in a park, and right before I made my decision to choose life and to move forward with life, a dove was overhead, and a dove always returns home. So the dove on the cover is very significant. It is a reminder of new life, and that our ability to return to who we are despite tragedy, despite pain in our lives.
That's just unbelievable that you could do all that in 6 weeks. So was it finished from start to finish in 6 weeks?
It was finished from start to finish, as well as launched on Amazon.
And what about working with the people? Did you have any conflicts, or were they receptive to how you wanted to have the book?
Sure. There was some resistance at first, because when I initially laid it out, I laid it out with my heart rather than a business perspective.
Oh, okay.
And so I said to them, there is no limit to your story. We don't want to rob you of your voice or your words. And so when we did it, the people's there was like 3,400 words. There was 23,000 words. It ranged. Yeah. Right. So people had a difficult time when I handed them back their chapter, and I said, okay, pare it down to 1,500 words.
Okay.
But they understood.
Good.
And there were a couple who we really had to push at the last hour. I can remember being up until 3:00 in the morning trying to meet this deadline that my coach had set for me with 2 other board members. And we're editing like crazy and, pushing people, get it done, because it's a tough topic. But yes.
Sure.
Right. So tell us more about the angel who helped you start the publishing company and how that all came about.
Yes, Kate Gardner lives in the UK, and she is now the chief editor and originator of the Missing Piece magazine, which is a digital magazine online. And she just really loved the project. And currently, she her magazine is a coaching magazine. So it is all virtual, and it is articles and videos from coaches across the globe sharing about a message that particular month. So one month it may be money, it may be relationships, and we submit videos because I'm part of that too with her. And people then can have the magazine for free, and it's filled with professional coaches providing advice on different topics.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, it sounds great.
And her goal is to highlight each of us as coaches as well, so that we can draw business too.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Great.
That's great. What a neat idea. So what about marketing your book? What are you doing for marketing purposes?
Marketing, it has always been a challenge for authors, right? That's how do we market? How long do we market? And Kate taught me some excellent social media marketing, and we did that initially, which allowed us to go to #1 on Amazon. Really beefed up the social media. Now it's speaking events. When I speak anywhere, then it's always part of my speaking, whether it's secondary post-traumatic stress disorder I'm speaking on to professionals or to suicide prevention and awareness. The book is an integral part of that, and that has led to sales as well as I belong to multiple organizations as a psychotherapist.
Great.
That has led to sales. And we continue to market it online also. But the intent was to highlight each author and their story to give them an opportunity to grow and shine.
How did they respond once they saw the book? Were most people happy, or could they believe that their story was in this book? Were they excited, or?
Oh my goodness, they were thrilled. I received video messages of authors crying and opening up their book, and just an outpouring of joy. So many of them have posted how their life has changed dramatically by giving them purpose to their story. And one woman in particular is working with Wells Fargo corporate. And she, after sharing her story for the first time in the book, has now been a spokesperson for them on suicide prevention, as well as attends Toastmasters. And her story has become a speech that she shares on a platform.
Wow. And once again, it goes back to you in that Facebook post.
Right. And
it's
deciding to write this book.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It gives me chills to think about how valuable they feel now compared to how they felt initially.
Yeah. Well, I just like it that you changed their lives, and people who could read this book potentially change their lives also, and that they're not alone. There's other people feeling like this, and just stay here.
So tell us more about your speaking engagements. Do you charge for those? I know we spoke to an author one time who said that he would do a speaking engagement as long as someone bought some number of his books, 150 books or something. And he said if anybody bought that many books, he would come and speak for free. Do you ever do anything like that? Or do you give a speech and then say, you can check out my book. It's for sale right over here.
Yeah, I have done it actually both ways. I've been paid by school districts to speak on suicide prevention for an amount. And then through the nonprofit, one of the other areas we speak frequently at is the Bar Association to lawyers. That has been, because they're number 4 on the list with the highest rate of suicide, that there's been a draw there. So at no cost. So that we are a nonprofit, right? That's part of the book is the nonprofit. So we don't want it to be unavailable to certain people. On the other hand, I've also spoke academically for NAMI, who is a nonprofit, in mental health. I spoke at the national conference as well as the state conference just a few weeks ago.
Wow, congratulations.
That's great.
Do you think you would have gotten any of these speaking engagements if you had not written the book?
Absolutely not.
So this has propelled you to this next stage. Well, that's wonderful.
Tell us more about what you're doing with social media.
What's lovely about an anthology is there's so many people involved to also promote. So it moves much quicker, right? It's times 34 rather than just myself.
And internationally, like you said, right?
Yes. But what I have found that people respond to the most is pulling quotes out from the book with a picture of the author who wrote it.
Okay.
That's been most powerful. And that tends to get the most likes, the most follows, the most requests. So people like to have those peeks into the book to see that story come alive before them without even purchasing it. It builds that trust and credibility in the authors and the book before making that purchase.
Well, that's a great idea, because you're right. When you listen to somebody or you read some, you have a favorite author and you might see their picture on the back of a book, but you really don't know that much about them. But then when you see another picture of them, whatever they're doing, hiking on their vacation or something, you're like, oh, that's really cool.
Yes.
I can relate to them.
Right, absolutely. And the other way we had built some promotion was through video. People connect through video very much. So we've used Facebook Live 2 or 3 different times to interview the authors or speak to the authors and share that with others. We've created a regular standalone video also that can be found on the iRise Leadership Institute page of the author speaking about the book and the experience and what it meant to them. So that's been powerful too, because people like to be able to connect through video.
Sure. We keep hearing about Facebook Live. So this I heard about it obviously before, but now it seems like it seems to be really getting popular. So it's been working out for you using that?
Absolutely. And the key is consistency. What we find with social media is if there is a lull or at all, we cut back, we start to lose our people.
Okay.
But when we're doing it consistently, and that's defined by Facebook 2 times a day, Instagram 4 times a day.
Wow.
Then
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a full-time job on itself.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Then we know that we really build our following through that level of consistency and commitment.
Wow. So I was listening to a podcast the other day about doing Facebook Lives, and they said since it's so new on Facebook, Facebook automatically bumps them up to the top. If you put a link to a video on Vimeo or YouTube, it's not as important to Facebook because it takes you away from Facebook. But a Facebook Live, they're really excited about that, so they'll put you right to the top. And sure enough, when I log on to Facebook and somebody I know is live, it's right there. It's the very first thing. If it's somebody you know, and they're live, it's right there on the top of your feed, so you can't miss it.
Yes.
That's
yes.
some good real estate right there when you're live.
Yes,
well, good
absolutely.
Job. Congratulations. That's great.
Thank you.
Well, it all seems like everything's been very positive for you. It's worked out well. So congratulations, because a lot of people seem to have struggles, and yours seems to be pretty easy going, so that's wonderful. But I always think it's just so fun to see the other doors that open up by just one decision that someone makes, and then all this, and now you're meeting all these people. Not only did you write this book, but you have a connection to the authors who contributed to your book.
Yes, very much so. And I'm still in touch with a lot of them. They
Great.
Still will reach out and say, hey, I'm having a rough day. But part of this then went on to a second Facebook support group called Unsung Heroes.
Okay.
And it is for people who are affected by mental health issues. And all of the authors then went into that Facebook page. They support one another when they're having a hard time. And they support outside people that weren't part of the book project who struggle, who've come to the public group.
Wow, that's
so it's
great.
been beautiful to watch them also learn how to connect with others and be there for others in their darkest hour through that Facebook page.
Wow.
Sure, I'm sure it gives them a sense of being,
Yes.
something positive. I helped someone else out.
And that's what we all want.
Right.
We want a sense
Absolutely.
of purpose. What is our purpose here?
Right. Absolutely.
So that's wonderful. And also, all of us sometimes just feel like especially in the winter, for us in the snow belt,
Yes.
you can feel so isolated. And, it's just, I know I can open my front door and it will feel like nobody is in the world but me. And it's like, where is, in the snow time, I'm talking about when it's snowing. Yes. Before, I guess you would go to a book or a radio or a TV, but it is nice. The computer has helped people who maybe do feel like, oh my gosh,
I'm
the only one here. At least now with you, something like what you have created and other people have created, you can see I'm not alone. There's other people struggling. So thank you for doing that, because that's a huge, service.
It's been such a blessing.
I
Yes.
bet. That's nice.
Well, do you have any advice for other authors who might be working on their book, Kristie?
Sure. I think that building the support system is really essential. I have created an online writing course for authors who get stuck so that there is a support group for them. And what I have learned is that more than anything, when you're struggling, to reach out. And so many times authors are tend to be more introverted people. But what's important is that empowerment, that push to keep going is necessary, because some days are much harder than others when we write.
Sure.
So to have that support and to have that structure that you follow. Whenever there isn't a structure and we lose focus, then we lose motivation. And when we lose motivation, we lose momentum, and then our manuscript sits and we become discouraged. So that structure is necessary. And then finally, the process of publication is much easier than many think. Depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking for the large publishing companies, the challenge is definitely still out there. But you have that opportunity. Each author has that opportunity to either self-publish or publish through small publishing companies like myself that make it fun and enjoyable to publish rather than anxiety and frustrating.
Yeah, someone we talked to said they work with a small publishing company, and they were saying what they really, truly like is that they felt like it was a family atmosphere. Like this became part of their family. Like, the people were rooting them on and encouraging them. And that is nice. That's very nice.
Yeah, it makes the experience much more positive and healthy for them, because each of us who have written and published a book know that we are not the same person we were when we started.
Interesting.
It is a transformational journey as you go through that and writing that. There's a lot of emotion in that.
So what's the best way for our listeners to get in touch with you, Kristie?
I do have a website, KristieKnights.com, or unsungheroespublishing.com.
And we'll have those in our show notes, so everyone can just click on it and go to you right away.
Right. And so is that the best place to buy the book?
You have two options. One, you can buy on Amazon if you would like. However, if you buy on iriseleadership.com, all proceeds go back into suicide prevention and awareness.
Wow, that's great.
So you're looking at $10 per book is donated back to saving lives.
Wow, that's wonderful.
It's very impressive.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations with that, and good luck, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Currently, right now, the money is going to fund a teen program for suicide prevention. So monies will go towards sponsoring a child so they can be part of a teen program that we're establishing in the community.
Wow, that's wonderful. Well, thank you for doing that. Pretty cool. Not an author and just saving the world. So thank you. Thank you. Very fun. Very fun. Congratulations.
Well,
thank you so much.
Sure. Thanks for joining us today, Kristie. It was great having you as a guest and hearing about your book and your publishing company. And you had a great story to tell us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I've loved being here, and just such a pleasure to meet both of you.
Well, thank you for taking the time to speak to us.
When you get a chance, follow us on Facebook. Just search for The Author Inside You. Thanks for listening, and until next time,
right on.
Thank you for listening to the Author Inside You podcast with your host, Leah and Matt Rafferty.